American and British government officials are producing television programming for transmission in Iraq. It's broadcast in Arabic to Iraqi citizens, and it's brought to them by a fleet of converted U.S. Air Force C-130s. The U.S. has started to produce about 4 hours of programming daily. The U.K. is about an hour a day. This program came from the British Foreign Office.
Fires and shots all over Baghdad, heard all over Baghdad. Not by the soldiers, but by the citizens themselves trying to scare away the looters. Some of the citizens are trying to protect their own properties against thefts and looting among the buildings that were looted in the last week. The citizens are repeating that they want to help the Allied forces to protect their own properties. This corner, please help us because it's really very dangerous. We want the Allied forces here. From their part, the Allied forces said that they are forming a joint forces between them and the police forces in Iraq. A call was issued to the local police force to go back to their work and to help restoring order and security. In turn, the Iraqi police forces met with the American officers in Baghdad to see how can they accomplish that. It seems like these patrols will start within the next few days. In Basra, the commander of the Allied forces there is convinced that the people of Al-Basra will help him in restoring the security. He said that he found great level of knowledge and understanding from the people, and they are already started to help us in this particular time. The soldiers of the Allied forces were given playing cards with pictures of the most wanted 55 Iraqi officials, among them Qusay, the son of Saddam Hussein and the one responsible about security and intelligence. Also, of course, Saddam Hussein himself, in addition to his deputy, Tariq Aziz, and others. The Allied forces asked the Iraqi people to find those wanted ones, and they said that they will be followed or killed or taken as prisoners. They also offered financial rewards for those that will provide information that leads to the arrest of those Ba'ath officials or stores for weapons of mass destruction. And they placed those cards on the internet in order to identify them if they have succeeded in their escape outside of Iraq. Sharar Haider is one of the most famous soccer players, and he currently works as a coach in London. All the Iraqi people knows me and knows how much pain, suffering, insults from Uday Saddam Hussein against me and other Iraqi athletes since 1985 until now. And the reality is this is the only reason that led me to run away from Iraq, escape from Iraq, in order to expose Uday's atrocities in the world community. And as soon as I arrived to London, I called the Minister of Sports in England, and we submitted a complaint against Uday and his cronies and what they have done against the athletes. How I feel now, I'm very happy. I'm very happy for the liberation of Iraq and that we got rid of Saddam Hussein's regime and liberating the Iraqi people. And we have waited for this for tens of years. Tens of thousands of the Iraqi young people sacrificed their life to witness this moment. But our joy is not complete because of what I've seen of looting and theft and stealing the public installations and public buildings. And I'm sure that some of the international media will depict the Iraqi people as uneducated, primitive people based on these pictures, but this is farther from the truth. The vast majority of these people who are doing this should please stop the looting and let's help each other to build our new Iraq. My message to the Iraqi people, all the Iraqi people, we are all exposed to beating and suffering and torture by Saddam and his regime and his black era. But as educated people and cultured people, we should not continue in this way. We should not try to revenge ourselves. We should not try to take the law in our hands. We should protect the holy places in Najaf and other places because this is the principles of building is forgiveness, building Iraqi, new Iraq. We should help each other. Put your hand in my hand and let's build Iraq, our country, our future. So I don't think that this revenge and going after the Ba'ath people or the officials is the answer here or the solution. We should leave this to the law enforcement people and our people. We should forgive and just concentrate on building our society. As for this revenge and following those people from the past, let's just give it to the authorities and let's leave the law to do that and the courts to do this. But don't try to take your rights with your own hands and go back to the tribalism. Let's prove that we are civilized people, modern people, to build the new Iraq. Of course, some people would say that now he's sitting in London and he's comfortable and he did not suffer like us. But the reality is, I lived all my life in Iraq. Only 3 years that I spent here in England, and I suffered what I suffered on the hands of Uday and his regime and my family and my friends, all of them. And the reality here is my message to the Iraqi people, and I know that the vast majority of the Iraqi people are educated and cultured and polite. They can differentiate between right and wrong. But this minority that we are looking in the streets, stealing everything, stealing the public buildings that belongs to the people in the first place, I want to tell them what happened, and let's just stop. And don't give bad impression about the Iraqi people, that we are thieves, we are ignorant. Let's stop that right now. And my message also to all the leaders and the religious leaders and the stars, the movie stars, whether artists or athletes, they should direct the people and educate them what's wrong and what's right. So we don't give any excuse to any foreign forces or these forces that are waiting on our borders. Don't give them an excuse to interfere in the future of Iraq. And in order to accelerate the rebuilding and reconstruction of Iraq and the Iraqis govern their own country. The truth is, I'm confident that our people are love sports, love art, And I'm sure 100% that sports will play a very important role in rebuilding Iraq and to treat the wounds that we have and to bring all ethnic groups and religions among the Iraqi people together. There is no difference between the Shiites and the Sunni and the Christian and the Ashurians and the Kildanians. We are all one people, and I'm sure that sports in the future will be as good as it was. We will be the first in Asia. And we need to think very seriously to bring professional sports into our country to improve its level and to regain our great and glorious history. And I talked to the ambassador here about that.
$10
10 years ago, you started a great campaign named Ammar Campaign to help the Al Ahwar citizens of south of Iraq. Would you please tell us about your activities in the 19th? I work for the Iraqi people since I learned about the attack against the Kurds in Halabja in the north. I start by asking that Saddam Hussein and his cronies who committed these atrocities to be submitted to international court. And after the liberation of Kuwait, I worked for the Iraqi citizens in the south, especially in Al Ahwar region, and those who suffered from Saddam and his regime, and encourage all those who stood against Saddam. And because of that, I established this society called the Ammar Society. This is the name of a young child who suffered and who we performed 26 operations on him after he suffered of huge injuries because of Saddam attack by some bombs on his area where he used to live. And now I'm leading a team consists of more than 500 Iraqi and Iranian people like teachers, engineers, nurses, and volunteers, both men and women. We provide water, health care, education to more than 500,000 Iraqi people. In the mid-90s, we worked inside Iraq. We have not reached to Basra because the forces of Saddam expelled us all the time and stopped us from entering the town. But by coordinating efforts with the Iranian authorities, we provided help to more than 100,000 Iraqi person inside Iran. How did you help during the embargo and the UN sanctions against Iraq? Saddam expelled all our team from Iraq, and he forced us to leave the Iraqi territories, and they even destroyed one of our boats, and they dried the Al Ahwar area, and they destroyed their fields, their houses, and we escaped with these people into Iran. After all what you have done to the people, isn't it true that Saddam tried to get rid of you? My name was one of the names that Saddam knows very well and attacked all the time. His attacks against me prove to me that I'm doing something right. I help those who struggled for their freedom and their life and the future of their families against a dictator, a savage dictator. I have seen the torture on a lot of Iraqis, and I lived part of it. And sometimes it caused me to be terrorized and depressed. Therefore, I put all my efforts or my political effort to help Iraq. So this means that your work with the Iranian authorities was easy? Iran opened their heart and their borders to 4 million people from Iraq in the last 15 years. They welcomed those refugees, and they also welcome Afghani refugees and others. They found in Iran the largest number of refugees in the world, despite the fact that they are a tremendous burden on the Iranian government. The current condition in Iraq is different, and it doesn't have anymore these hurdles. What are the new opportunities to reconstruct and develop Iraq? It is very interesting and enjoyable to work now in Iraq without these hurdles. Our group wants to participate to build the health sector in Iraq. The country used to have the best healthcare system in Asia, and we want to bring things back to normal as soon as we can. We will go back to Iraq. We will distribute ourselves on all medical and healthcare facilities to help the doctors and the nurses and to rebuild the hospitals and the health centers in Iraq for Iraq to become once more the best country. Are you going back yourself to lead this campaign south of Iraq? I was in Iran 10 days ago, and I will visit Cairo, Qatar, and Kuwait also. And I hope I will be in Iraq in the very near future. Our team looking forward to go back. It is the most important thing that the Iraqi people regain their sovereignty, their freedom, and to choose their own leaders, and to provide good education and good health care to the Iraqi citizens. I believe that our team is willing and ready to do that. In addition to all these activities, you built a group called the Rebuilding Group, full of experts, Iraqi experts who lives in England and other European countries. Are they going to participate in the reconstruction? The new Iraqi reconstruction group that I have founded will call on all other Iraqi with expertise to help their brothers and sisters inside Iraq. We have specialists in the medical field, legal field, construction, among the Iraqi who lives in England. In addition to several of other British organizations that all of them wants to help and participate and go to Iraq to help the Iraqis. Important here is to achieve democracy in Iraq because that will provide freedom and protection equally to everyone to enjoy the medical services and education regardless to their belongings, whether religious or ethnic. And this is what the new Iraqi law should constitute. The Iraqis who ran away from Saddam and his regime will form a large force to rebuild the new Iraq. I am looking forward for millions of Iraqis, of Iraqi people outside of Iraq to go back to Iraq to help their own people who suffered of the crimes of Saddam Hussein and his regime. And finally, is Ammar, the young man, will participate in this new campaign. Ammar and myself were talking a lot on the phone several times. Last time was yesterday. And I'm trying now to achieve, to get him an approval to go back to Iraq to find his family. My wish for him, since I found him on the borders between Iraq and Iran, my wish for him is to find his family once more and rejoin them. And I have a deep feeling that we will find them soon, God's willing.
That we'll be finding his family soon, inshallah.
Call from the Allied forces to the people of Al-Basra. General Brims asked of one of the sheikhs of Al-Basra to be responsible about coordinating the efforts and to prepare a list of people that he thinks are trustworthy and that he believes that they are able to run the area. This is not a permanent but temporary action. The future, the political future of the city, it will be decided by the people of Al-Basra and no one else. We would like to remind you that General Brims or any of his commanders have not done any communication with Al-Sa'dun tribe. We want to concentrate now on the whole operation and not on individuals. A call from the Allied forces to the people of Al-Basra in order to facilitate the fast return of the civil management and public services in Al-Basra area. General Brims and his commanders started to identify the opinions of the local leaders and the technical experts. The General Brims wants that the people of Al-Basra be completely responsible and to govern their own in the fastest possible time. However, despite some of the news that was published by the international media, he have never contacted the family or any members of Al-family of Al-Sa'dun. He also called on the local leaders to come back to their work. He also said that he understands after the fall of the Saddam regime, several of the public servants are afraid to come back to work, but he called them to come back to their work because of the interest, in the interest of the people of Al-Basra. He also added that the public services are very important to return to normal life. And as long as the public servants are trustworthy, they will find every support from the British forces while they are carrying their duties. He also finally said that he will work to provide practical support to those public servants, and he will guarantee the pay of their work. One of the leaders of the Kurdish minority in London asked all Arabs and Kurds to adopt democracy to build a stable and strong future to Iraq. Dr. Latif Rashid, who represents the National Union of the Kurds in Europe and America, called the international society to rebuild Iraq and to get involved in the reconciliation between the different religions and sects. Dr. Rashidi talked in the Royal Institute of International Affairs in London, and he encouraged all the other speakers to provide their opinions. This institute also wants to provide and promote better understanding between different cultures. Our thoughts was with Iraq not only during the last few days, but it was with Iraq since we were born. Iraq passed through very difficult times throughout the years, and the peak of the suffering came through Saddam Hussein. We are happy because we saw the end of the savagery and dictatorship in Iraq, and we are very grateful to the Allied forces because they helped the Iraqi people. We are, however, worried about the future of Iraq. We want that Iraq becomes a democratic country, an effective member of the world community, and live in peace with his neighbors and other countries, and to recognize the rights of the Kurdish people within a federal system in Iraq. The Kurdish people faced very difficult times. The Iraqi system committed mass killing. The human rights were left. Our political and national rights were not respected. When I say mass murder, I mean the mass murder committed by Saddam Hussein against the Kurdish people. Our aspiration is to stay in one Iraq, unified Iraq, that the future government will respect their national and their political rights. The Kurds are proposing a better way to solve this problem, and that is to respect the national aspiration of the Kurdish people through a federal system, federal Iraqi system, so they enjoy their rights as Iraqis, as citizens of Iraq, federal Iraq. We hope that the Kurdish administration will take care of the Kurdish affairs in the following days until we have the interim government for whole Iraq, and then to cooperate between all the parties and political entities to go through a transition period in Iraq, and finally to form a unity government among the Iraqis. While this Iraqi government, the new Iraqi government, will face tremendous job in rebuilding Iraq and reconstructing the society and the economy and the industry of Iraq. It is obvious that there is a lot of harm. A lot of people suffered throughout a long period of time. We want these people to be taken care of by the new government, a unity government that will take its responsibility in rebirthing Iraq and building the new civil institutions and to provide reality that is democracy and election, a new Iraqi government and new Iraq as a whole. We hope that the Iraqi Kurds becomes a partner in the future of Iraq, and we hope that the central government of Iraq guarantee our political and national rights. We have a very important political role to play, not only in the Kurdish area, but we want to become a very effective member in the future Iraqi government and to become true partner in Iraq. Iraq that becomes democratic and federal, including Arabs and Kurds. A call from the Ally forces to the Iraqi people. The Ally forces soon will publish a free newspaper that will include the activities of the Ally forces and other news that we know that the Iraqi people are looking forward to read. This newspaper will be issued 6 times a week under the name Al-Zaman. Look forward to it. We know now that few elements of the regime elements are using the American and the British military uniform to mislead the Iraqis, and they are killed some of the citizens who came to welcome them as liberators. Please be careful of these tricks and try to distinguish between the true Ally forces. We know that the regime are claiming that they are negotiating with the Ally forces, but this is absolutely not true. The Ally forces will never have any communication or dealing with Saddam's regime. We know that the previous regime is trying to destroy some of the holy sites and claim that the Ally forces did that. Don't let them succeed in that. The Ally forces respects to the utmost levels these holy places and respects your religion. We call on the people in the liberated areas to exercise self-control and to respect the law for the best interest of your families and yourself. Stop the others from looting and stealing. This is your future. Do not let it go. We are meeting with the heads of the tribes, the sheikhs, and the religious leaders to form local committees. This looting is not correct. Stop those who are doing it. The Ally forces are trying to destroy the last influences of the rotten system by destroying the pictures and the statues of Saddam. And now we are in the process of destroying the last pockets of the Iraqi system. The Ally forces is continuing also to bring humanitarian aid and support to the safe areas. Thousands of military people decided that they will not confront the Ally forces and they went back to their homes. The rest of you should do the same action. We are doing our best to take care of everyone that surrendered to us, and we are treating them according to the Geneva Convention. And we are becoming more and more responsible about your future, and we will fulfill all our promises to you to build better futures, and then we will leave. Look for more calls. Call from the Ally forces to all the members of Al-Ba'ath Party. Now, after Saddam and his cronies have left, there is a role for you to play, all you members of the Arab Ba'ath Party, to rebuild Iraq. And we will need anyone with expertise of you, especially those who held high-level positions in the government and the local authorities. Also as part of the rest of the Iraqis to rebuild Iraq. The members of Al-Ba'ath Party can stay in their service positions. If any of the Iraqis have complaints against some of you, we will set it aside until we build legal committees to look into it. The heads of the tribes should exercise all efforts possible to protect those members and to stop people from revenge or taking the law onto their hands. We consider the members of the Al-Ba'ath Party as partners in the crimes of the regime because Saddam used the party for his best interests. It is Saddam, not the Ba'athites, who destroyed Iraq with his greeds and ambitions. Iraq and the Ba'ath members will become secure after we finish the last pockets of Saddam's militias. The Ba'ath member who did not commit any crimes against the Iraqi people, they can play a very important role in liberating Iraq. The Ba'ath members should cooperate with their families, the people of Iraq, to keep the freedom of Iraq in the future. Forwards, we are moving to freedom. The citizens of Basra received the American Marines with joy. They are the first people who arrived to the city, and they are walking in their automobiles to comfort the people who witnessed a lot of looting, and from Al-Ba'ath people. Nothing left in this medical center. There is a smell of smoke, burning, and everything else was looted. This was a place to serve everyone. And the people who are working inside this center said that they are really disgusted of this, such as this little girl who fell and there was no ambulance to take it to the hospital. And when she goes there, she will find someone to help her. The physicians were courageous enough not to leave the place. This Murtada Kadhim, a doctor in Al-Basra General Hospital, said, we need to continue our work. We should not stop. The people are the remaining of the militia of Saddam Hussein, not the Iraqi people. They are trying to destroy our life and destroy those who are welcoming the ally forces. Peter McMullen from the Irish Republic.
Tomorrow on Washington Journal, Tom Schatz with Citizens Against Government Waste on pork spending in Congress.